To get more specific about the academic mindset that we're trying to promote in students, we can begin by broadly describing the mindset as process over outcome. Allow me to explain what that means in more detail. The question is, how does a student know if he or she is successful? There are so many ways the student can judge themselves, some more or less harmful or more or less beneficial. But may I suggest that the most meaningful and helpful ways of thinking about success would have the following attributes. First, the measures of success would be predictable and within the control of the student. It would present to the student not an arbitrary world in which they can never be sure if they'll be deserving of respect, especially self-respect. Students who live in that environment can't thrive because almost any risk is just too challenging. They don't have any ideas what the result will be. Measuring success outside of what the student can control seems arbitrary, and in fact, it is arbitrary. So instead, a meaningful definition of success would focus on the choices of the student, something that is in their control, something that is stable, and something that is fair. Second, meaningful measures of success would be forward-looking. They would be more concerned with what the student can do moving forward to be successful than about how the student failed in the past. Because a person can only exercise choice in the future. The past is best understood primarily as a tool for learning, not obsessing over. And may I suggest that using the past primarily for learning as opposed to obsessing is not something that always comes easily to teens or even adults. Finally, meaningful success would be based on measures that have lasting meaning. We want the experience of the student to matter to them years from when they experience our classes, and that just won't happen if the student is primarily focused on measures of success that don't carry lasting meaning forward. So often, students are inclined to get wrapped up in trophies, placing, praise from their peers, and so forth. But these last just about as long enough for you to desperately need them to be renewed the next time around. Real meaningful student success should be durable, something that gives them lasting satisfaction. And so we come to process over outcome. Can I suggest that meaningful student success is best understood as a process or a way of living? It means choosing a process that the student can really believe in because the process is based on choices really worth believing in. Choices like self-respect, being responsible for one's own choices, choosing to grow, hard work, courage, creativity, and other choices valuable and important to the student. And then being willing to evaluate oneself based on making choices that the student can respect. Defining success in this way is based on student choices. It helps the students learn from mistakes without obsessing about them, and it helps the student derive lasting meaning from their experience. It helps students to grow, and as a bonus, outcomes can sit in the proper place. Feedback is about our performance, but not necessarily student choices, and definitely not their worth.